Marcus and David are sort of doing a neo-Hippie kind of look, like mid-90s sort of take on hippie. So it's kind of hippie, but it's kind of full of technology as well. So the hair's quite natural and easy, but the guys have sort of designed these bands that go around the neck that sort of capture the hair, that gives it kind of like a sort of bob kind of length. All the hair's behind, but then you get this sort of like caught up kind of hair. So we have a Redken product called Swimwear, which is a blow dry lotion that slightly smooths the hair. That, you know, when women want natural hair, they still want some sort of like, they don't want it to be too frizzy. So it kind of gives it some control without it being too straight and too blown looking. So it's very easy, sort of very cool. You know, a rag and bone girl is very, with her hair, she's very easygoing and kind of natural.
We're going to see, I don't know, a lot of rag and bone, a lot of tailoring, like some very different tailoring shapes for us, a lot of various different silhouettes, got some like really massive pants and very oversized parachute inspired things. And we have a skirt made out of a real parachute. We got some wicked, an actual parachute. The eBay iPad app is quite dangerous. I've now got a lot of parachutes.
We listened to techno in the 90s, right?
Kind of.
I think that that's a really kind of strong part of this girl's character, that there's like a ravey kind of festival goer, Burning Man, like it's got an edge, and you know, I think it's a kind of a cool thing, and I hope that people really kind of get that in the girl, because I like that. It reminds me of when we used to go raving.
You know, I've certainly found that the last spring collection that started playing with, you know, they did these long plissé diaphanous skirts and putting that back with looser open weave sweaters. I think they started to realize that they could really open up a new dialogue but still keep their DNA, and that they could have that sense of color and femininity and pull that back. And their confidence as designers are really growing, and I think the fact that now they have their own freestanding stores and have really sort of got their roots as a brand, that it's made mentally them more adventurous and less pinning themselves into a corner. Well, their signature has always been tailoring. And the boys will admit to themselves, you know, that fall is always their season that they really have no difficulty with. And they've been, you know, trying to sort of work out in terms of their tailoring has always been so strong, that signature jacket, that whole kind of like taking clothes from your boyfriend and mixing that in.
We have a neoprene biker jacket, which is very cool. I mean, there's a lot of cool pieces in there. It's a lot of fabric, a lot of like mixing textures. We had 3 like main inspirations, and each look tried to put every single one into it. Yeah, there's some swimwear underneath it all. It's not like literal swimwear straight out there, but we have swimwear, but there's more as layering pieces. We've got a lot of colour, some like neon orange and mustard and a lot of navy. I mean, pretty much every single colour we could find.
It's really laid back, and there is something very sort of English countryside about it, and it's very, you know, it's casual, but it can be very sexy on the women, and I love exactly the tailoring is insane, the jeans are insane, the shirts are really cool, and I like the pops of colour that they use, you know, and they sort of bring out the bits of the electric blue or the bright red, and yeah, I just think they get better and better every season.
When we do the CFDA Awards, I kind of watch the tabulation come in as voting, and they always score really high and get really close in women's, but they never manage to get into the top 3. I think they're really talented, and for me, and working at the CFDA, I've been at CFDA 6 years, and they were one of the very first year that I was at the CFDA, they were part of Fashion Fund, and to see them explode and the kind of business that they have and the consistency and their talent, I'm so proud of it and impressed by it. And personally, for me, it's the clothes I like to wear. I wear a lot of rag and bone on the guy's side, and I know all the women in my office are like Jones for rag and bone.
Dave Neville is actually a really good old friend of mine from England. We have loads of friends in common, and I've known him for a long time. So, I'm really here, mainly to support him and Marcus. And, I feel obviously because of like the English, because it's quite an English quintessential brand, I feel like I have that connection with it, and therefore I want to support it, my fellow Brits, and, and I love their things.
They were just two guys that had an idea about the kind of clothes they wanted to wear. They didn't know anything about making clothes. They weren't professionally trained. And then when they ended up in New York, they walked around the garment district and they looked up and they saw a factory, and they went up into the factory and they met the guy and they said, this is what we want to do. And they worked with that guy to learn, and they really used the garment district as an incubator, an apprentice more or less, and that's how they started. And their commitment to that, the quality and what Made in America means in terms of job and income for this city and for this country is really special and important, and they live by it, and they really, really believe it. It's not just a marketing thing. And the irony of it all is that they're two guys from the UK that are made in America, but I think that's what's a little bit charming about them too.
We make probably, most of this, apart from the sweaters, is the vast majority is made in New York, most of it. But as a company, we have to make some things abroad. We started making clothes in Kentucky, and that was a factory that was put out of business by everything being taken abroad. And so, at that point, we decided to try and make everything we possibly could in America. Some things you just can't make here. You can't make sweaters, like wool sweaters here. There just are no factories left.